It looked like Kelsey Mitchell has some things to say about her teammate Caitlin Clark and the current state of the WNBA. Tell you guys, Kelsey Mitchell made a big-time appearance on ESPN, and it has simply broken the damn internet. We seen the stellar performance Kelsey Mitchell had in her last bout going up against the Las Vegas Aces. And I've been telling y'all, bro, and I'm going to keep on saying it. Kelsey Mitchell came out that locker room with a belt full of spikes, and she put it over the booties of the Las Vegas Aces.
Kelsey Mitchell just shattered A'ja Wilson's reputation and exposed what fans have been whispering for months: an anti-Caitlin Clark agenda at the heart of the WNBA.
So, lads, today we are going to be talking about the Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark. Well, Kelsey Mitchell talking about Caitlin Clark. Look, Fever players are going to be asked about Caitlin Clark. Genuinely, like, every single time. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're a Fever player, you're going to be asked about Caitlin Clark.
This wasn't just about one game. This was about power, favoritism, and a league on the edge of being flipped upside down. So here's the real question. Was this the night A'ja Wilson's dynasty collapsed and the moment Indiana Fever seized control of the league's future? Let's start with the chaos that unfolded on the court. The Indiana Fever walked into Las Vegas as massive underdogs. They were shorthanded, missing 6 players, including Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. The Aces had their MVP polished up, their arena ready for a coronation. Everyone expected Indiana to roll over, but instead, the game turned into a masterclass in grit and exposure.
I mean, she laid them over her lap and got the spanking them. I mean, my goodness. The Las Vegas Aces looked like a shell of themselves playing up against Kelsey Mitchell, man. She played 34 minutes and had 34 points. Y'all do understand. I know I've been saying this a lot. She was scoring a bucket every 60 damn seconds she was in the game.
From the opening tip, the officiating was a disaster. Missed calls piled up. Lexi Hull was shoved, elbowed, and even tripped on illegal screens that looked more like WWE moves than basketball.
I mean, it feels like a physical game every game. Feels like it's been a physical season. But yes, I think, I feel like I've been on the ground a little bit more this series so far. But we just keep getting back up, so that's all you can really say.
And yet, the whistles stayed silent. Then came the moment that summed it all up. Kelsey Mitchell drives hard, absorbs clear contact from A'ja Wilson, finishes the bucket. And instead of getting the free throw she deserved, the refs slapped her with a technical foul. Even Vegas fans couldn't believe it. This wasn't officiating. It was theater. And it was obvious who the refs wanted on top. But here's the thing. Indiana didn't blink. They didn't fold. They responded by tightening up their defense, executing cleanly, and punishing Vegas every single time the Aces lost focus.
Mitchell teardrops one in.
As Wilson on her gets fire and lays it in left side.
And Sims, they gave her just that space and she took it.
Sims at the foul line lets it fly again and hits it again.
Honestly, Sims is feeling it.
Kelsey Mitchell wasn't rattled. She was relentless. By the final buzzer, she had 34 points, silencing the Vegas crowd and turning what was supposed to be a coronation into humiliation. A'ja Wilson, she shot a brutal 6 for 22.
There's the A'ja Wilson we all know.
On her MVP night, the supposed face of the league couldn't buy a bucket without a bailout whistle. And then came the words that set the WNBA on fire. Post-game, Kelsey Mitchell didn't rant. She didn't cry. She calmly laid it out. She called out the inconsistencies. She pointed to the favoritism. And she made it clear that Indiana wasn't just surviving. They were here to compete. Her comments carried weight because she had just done what no one expected. She embarrassed A'ja Wilson on her home court. On the biggest night of her season, Mitchell's statement wasn't just about a bad game. It was a direct shot at the WNBA's golden child and the system that protects her. Becky Hammon tried to spin it in her presser, blaming missed layups. But the truth was undeniable. Indiana outplayed Vegas in every single phase. And that's when Mitchell went even further, straight into the heart of the controversy swirling all year. Caitlin Clark. After months of polished interviews, Mitchell finally broke her silence. And what she said left the entire league stunned. Clark has changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball, Mitchell declared.
I think it was just like a match made in heaven, really, because I was, still at a young age to really, vibe and get to know these players for who they were. And then you bring in Caitlin, who changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball. And as a friend and as a player, you grow to appreciate her because, certain doors have opened because she's come to the Fever, and you have to respect that. And I love the teammate and person in her because she's accepted it with so much grace and even welcomed us with open arms to, make this thing happen. So I think it just took a lot of big pieces to make, what it is now.
Think about the gravity of that statement. This is a veteran who spent years carrying Indiana through irrelevance, grinding through 5 coaches in 8 years, losing seasons so bad the team was treated like a free win. If anyone had a reason to be bitter about Clark stealing the spotlight, it was Kelsey Mitchell. But instead of jealousy, she gave respect. Pure, authentic respect. She called Caitlin a teammate, a friend, and even admitted that without Clark, doors would have never opened for the Fever. Compare that to A'ja Wilson and Cheryl Swoops, who've spent the season throwing shade, dismissing Clark's impact, and feeding into the resentment. Mitchell flipped the narrative. She showed what true leadership looks like, recognizing a generational star without diminishing herself. Mitchell reminded everyone that before Caitlin, she was the one keeping Indiana alive. She laid the foundation, she carried the weight. And now, alongside Clark, Boston, and Hull, she's ready to turn that survival into a dynasty. And she made it clear, she's all in. At one point, she even hinted she'd take a pay cut to keep this core together. That's not just loyalty, that's a revolution. So here's the climax. The WNBA has been exposed. A'ja Wilson, the 2-time MVP, looked helpless without whistles to save her. The Aces, the so-called dynasty, collapsed under pressure. And the referees, supposed to be invisible, became the story of the night. But Kelsey Mitchell, she turned it into her stage. Her performance and her words didn't just end A'ja Wilson's MVP night, they may have ended her aura of invincibility altogether. At the same time, Mitchell shined a light on the elephant in the room, the league's fear of Caitlin Clark. The agenda to hold her back, to downplay her impact, can't be hidden anymore. Because when Clark's teammates are calling it out, the whole world takes notice.
What has it been like? Because certainly the world has been focused on her. But what has it been like as a teammate? Because sometimes people are stepping to her, but I feel like you guys are stepping right back in those situations.
I think it's just it's competitive nature, man. You know how it goes. It's just competitive nature. I think that we want to fight to, love on our team and be who we are and respect the game at the same time. So I think it's a lot of just competitive nature at the end of the day.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And look, you guys have been plagued with injuries, including to Caitlin.
Yeah.
But you have the best sideline in the league, I feel like, right now. What does it mean to get that support during the postseason from the crew?
Oh, man, it's unbelievable. And I think the best part about it is that we have vet experience when it comes to Sydney Carlson, and she's a winner and she's a champion. And then you have people like Caitlin, who's a PG and can pass the ball. And so when I come on the sideline, I get feedback from some of the best players in the league. And so I don't take those moments for granted either, because I feel like it's a chance to see the game in a different route, and I get to get to talk to them from a level of just them having confidence in me to make plays. So I love it. It's a good experience to have.
This wasn't just a playoff upset. This was a shift in power. Mitchell destroyed the myth that Vegas is untouchable. She elevated Caitlin Clark's legacy while exposing the league's bias. And she reminded everyone that Indiana Fever isn't just Clark's team. It's a unit built on resilience, loyalty, and belief. The Aces thought this would be easy. Instead, they walked into their own house and got embarrassed by the 6th seed they laughed off. A'ja Wilson's legacy now has an asterisk, not because of her talent, but because of the cracks Mitchell forced the world to see. And the biggest truth of all, the WNBA can't stop what's coming. Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and the Indiana Fever are rewriting history, one scandal and one statement at a time. So what do you think? Did Kelsey Mitchell just end A'ja Wilson's legacy and prove the anti-Clark agenda is real? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button if you're riding with the Fever, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss what happens next.
And it looked like some footage has been released from last night's matchup showing the Indiana Fever did not have that favorable whistle. Now I'm here to tell you, it's looking a little spooky for the WNBA referees, because we did have that damn whistle for a couple games. Now, I don't know what happened yesterday, but it looked like A'ja Wilson got to do whatever the hell she wanted to do.
A'ja Wilson just left Lexi Hull sprawled on the hardwood, and fans say the WNBA finally crossed the line. This wasn't basketball. It was a brawl disguised as defense.
Indiana Fever fans, last night we took a tough loss, but it was honestly about exactly what you would think would happen. First off, number 23, Jeff Wooten. I'm starting to know these refs now just by looking at them. So the more I do this, the more I know how the game is going to be called before the tip-off.
And while Hull played through a back injury, Wilson was celebrated as dominant. But if you think this story ends there, think again. Because the Fever didn't just back down. They fought through chaos, controversy, and whistles that seemed determined to break them.
I mean, it feels like a physical game every game. Feels like it's been a physical season. But yes, I think, I feel like I've been on the ground a little bit more this series so far. We just keep getting back up, so that's all you can really say.
So here's the question everyone's asking. How did Wilson get praised for greatness while Lexi Hull risked her health? And what does this mean now that the series shifts to Indiana? To understand the chaos of Game 2, you need to go back to Game 1.
We're in Las Vegas, Nevada, Game 1 of the best-of-5 semifinal series between Las Vegas and the Indiana Fever.
Indiana walked into Las Vegas facing the two-time defending champions and did the unthinkable. Kelsey Mitchell dropped a playoff career-high 34 points, silencing every doubt about whether this young Fever team was ready for the moment.
Off Mitchell, rise and fire. Good! Kelsey connects. Timeout, Becky Hammond. Mitchell, MVP finalist. Uncorks and puts it in.
Aces star A'ja Wilson, the MVP, couldn't find rhythm. She went just 6 for 22 from the field, frustrated and smothered by Indiana's defense. The Fever controlled the pace, executed with discipline, and left the floor with a 16-point blowout win.
Mitchell teardrops one in.
As Wilson on her gets fire and lays it in left side.
Sims, they gave her just that space and she took it.
Sims at the foul line, lets it fly again and hits it again.
Honestly, Sims is feeling it.
That humiliation lit a fire under Las Vegas. And in Game 2, they weren't just determined to win, they were determined to send a message. But the question is, at what cost? Because Game 2 didn't feel like basketball. It felt like a brawl.
We did notice, for whatever reason, they was flopping hard yesterday, boy. I mean, they was flopping. It's almost like, it's almost like the Aces knew that they was going to get them calls yesterday. Let me know as I'm tripping, because I don't think I'm tripping, man. I think the Aces knew that the whistle was going to go their way yesterday. Had to have known. Bro. I mean, they just had to have known, because there's no way in hell they was able to do what they could do and legally get away with it, dog. I just got to be honest.
From the opening tip, whistles echoed across the arena. By the end, there were 41 fouls, with 16 in just the third quarter alone.
But last night was a perfect example why the Indiana Fever need Caitlin Clark desperately. But this game came down to the first 2 quarters, just horrible refereeing. And then by the time the third quarter started, we're down by about 10. We cut it to within 8. But then the refs called foul after foul after foul after foul. When you have a foul 5 possessions in a row, there was no way we could come back or build any type of rhythm. And we did have a lot of turnovers. We were not shooting the ball. I'm not trying to say.
Every time the Fever tried to build momentum, the game stopped. Every time Indiana found a rhythm, the officials chopped it into pieces. Head coach Stephanie White admitted it herself. It's hard for us to find flow when there's a foul called every 10 seconds. They were aggressive, but we never got that same whistle on the other end.
How don't you think you were able to find any flow? And when that was the case, what are you trying to do to jumpstart things, maybe on the defense?
Well, it's hard for us to find flow when there's a foul call every 10 seconds. I mean, it just really is. And when they're at the free throw line, we can't get up and down the floor. and that's a challenge. They were much more aggressive and physical defensively, and we didn't counter that with our off-ball actions or with our back cuts. So they took us out of our comfort zone. I mean, offense is about rhythm, it's about timing, it's about spacing. We allowed them to do that, and they kept us from doing it.
The numbers told the story. Vegas piled up free throws, Indiana got dragged into half-court sets, and the referees looked like they were calling two different games depending on which jersey you wore. The worst part, Lexi Hull should never have even been out there. She injured her back in Game 1 and was listed as a game-time decision. Most players would have sat out, but Hull taped herself up, took the floor, and instantly became the target of Vegas's physicality. A'ja Wilson locked in on her, delivering hit after hit. Screens were set late, arms locked up, bodies thrown to the ground. And Hull? She just kept getting back up, somehow. Through all the pain, she drilled 5 three-pointers, tying a Fever playoff record. Every make wasn't just points, it was defiance. After the game, she admitted, "I'm feeling sore still, but I just tried to push through. A lot of treatment, a lot of trust in our trainers. That's the playoffs."
Yeah, Lexi, obviously you were a late add to the injury report today. Just how are you feeling this morning with your back, and what do you have to do to be able to play? I mean, I'm feeling sore still, but I think just a lot of treatment, trying to get, our bodies as ready as we can be. Part of playoffs, I think, for everyone is the end of the season. Everyone's a little fatigued, everyone's a little sore. So just trying to go out there and do the best I can. Yeah, a lot of treatment with our trainers. I'm really thankful for them to spend a lot of time with me today, a lot of time with me yesterday, getting me ready for tonight. But it'll be a good rest day tomorrow. But I think that's, for everyone. We're just pushing through.
That's not just grit, that's survival basketball. But here's what made fans furious. While Hull was bruised and taped together, the headlines focused on A'ja Wilson's stats. She put up 25 points, 9 rebounds, 5 steals, and 2 blocks. The media called it a dominant performance. But was it dominance, or was it something else? Because look closer. Wilson bulldozed her way into the paint, threw elbows, benefited from whistles that Indiana never got on the other end. Fans watching online called it out, "This isn't skill, this is bullying." Yet the national conversation painted her as the hero. And even more ironic, Becky Hammon, Vegas's own coach, admitted afterward that the game's physicality was out of control. That's right, the team that benefited most from the chaos still complained about it.
The scores of these games, I don't think really are reflecting how intense they feel. I'm wondering if to you that's maybe because of the physicality, or why do you think that is?
The physicality is out of control, that's for sure. I mean, you can bump and grab a wide receiver in the NFL for those first 5 yards, but you can do it in the W for the whole half court. You put 2 hands on somebody like that, it should be an automatic foul. They have the freedom of movement. There's no freedom. And I'm not saying that we're not fouling too. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's out of control.
But don't let that distract you from what the rest of the Fever did. Aaliyah Boston looked like she was fighting through a football game, not a playoff matchup. She battled her way to 10 points and 13 rebounds, but every board came with a hit to the ribs or a shove in the back. She's only in her 3rd season, but she's already carrying herself like a veteran who refuses to quit. Then there was Odyssey Sims, 18 points while dribbling through double teams, getting hacked on the arms, and watching whistles erase any flow she found. Her frustration was visible, but her determination never cracked. Every time Vegas delivered a punch, Sims answered with a bucket. And yet, no matter what Indiana did, momentum was impossible to hold. 4 fouls in a row turned an 8-point deficit into 13 in a matter of seconds. Players flying, fans groaning, the whistle echoing. It wasn't basketball, it was chaos dressed up as playoff intensity. Through it all, one image defined the night. Lexi Hull, taped up, grimacing, and still burying threes, as if daring the Aces to knock her down again. She tied a Fever playoff record while playing on a bad back. And still, the story wasn't about her. It was about Wilson's box score. But fans saw what really happened. They saw Hull's toughness, They saw Aaliyah Boston fighting like a linebacker in the paint. They saw Odyssey Sims keep attacking when every whistle went against her. And they saw referees tilt the game into something that looked less like sport and more like survival. Vegas may have won the battle, but they didn't break Indiana's spirit. And now the series shifts. The Aces won't have the comfort of home or whistles echoing through their arena. They'll walk into Gainbridge Fieldhouse, where 17,000 Fever fans are ready to turn every foul, every shove, every questionable whistle into a roar the officials can't ignore. Even Becky Hammon admitted it. Our experience there has not been great this season.
This series going to Indianapolis, is there like a level of concern about that maybe escalating, or how do you feel just about the referee's ability to keep that under?
Well, most of my assistants come from the NBA, and they're like, this would not fly in the NBA. This level of physicality would not fly in the NBA. There'd be fights. There'd be fights. We just have very well-mannered women that can get to the next play, but there would be fights.
And she's right. Gainbridge has been a graveyard for opponents. It's where energy doesn't fade, where runs never die, and where officials can't hide from the crowd's reaction. Lexi Hull said it best. Our fans, they show up and they show out. That's the X factor now. The same team that nearly stole Game 2 in Vegas will finally have thousands of voices amplifying every bucket from Caitlin Clark, every rebound from Boston, every shot Hull takes on her sore back. The Aces may have used whistles and brute force to steal Game 2, but Indianapolis is waiting. And what happens when a team that's been beaten down finally comes home? So here's the truth. Asia Wilson wasn't exposed because she scored 25 points. She was exposed because it took chaos, controversy, and an injured opponent to get there. And the Fever? They're still standing. The war isn't over. It's just moving to Indiana. If you're still watching, drop Let's Go Lexi in the comments to show your support. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more Fever updates, and hit the bell so you never miss what happens next in this explosive series.
What do you think, looking back on that season, so last season, was one of the biggest misconceptions of the Indiana Fever? Like, maybe it was like locker room stuff. I feel like early on,
oh my gosh,
like,
that, oh my gosh, there was so much locker room talk, and
everybody I talked to were like, we vibe, we're good.
I was like, what are we talking about? Like, it's so easy for people to just make all these assumptions. So people are like, oh my gosh, her body language, she was not happy. She hates this entire squad.
Aaliyah Boston just silenced Cheryl Swoops with one interview. For months, Swoops fueled rumors that Caitlin Clark wasn't fitting in with the Indiana Fever, pointing at her body language, locker room tension, and supposed chemistry issues.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah. Now listen,
there's
a lot of chicks.
What kind of things do you say? I'm not in the locker room.
Okay.
I'm talking about more social media.
Okay.
But now, Boston has fired back. On Sue Bird's Bird's Eye View podcast, she didn't hold back. The way she defended Clark has fans calling it the ultimate mic drop moment.
I've always been someone that likes to prove people wrong. And like, if you say something, I will literally go out of my way to make sure you know that you're incorrect. Yeah. It's like, I can't help it.
But what exactly did Boston say that exposed the truth? Let's rewind. This isn't the first time Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark crossed paths. In fact, their history goes back to college, to one of the most unforgettable Final Four matchups in recent memory. Clark dropped a brutal 40 points on South Carolina, and Boston was on the receiving end. And in the interview, she admitted she had to bring it up once they became teammates.
I was like, I forgot, we were like doing something with somebody, and I was like, hey, I just want to say, I'm like really upset that you like did what you did in that Final Four game. I was like, I feel like I just need to get it off my chest because like we are teammates, but I'm like, you didn't have to do all that. Like, you did not have to go for 40 on our dome. Like, girl, we could have just had fun. But after that, it was like cool because obviously now we're on the same team, so you don't worry about that. But I always thought it was funny because I'm like, we just went from competing against each other, you beating us, and now we're on the same team. It's like, I was like, girl, it's okay, I get it. I'm not mad at you for real, but I am. Because like, why would you do that?
Boston told Clark straight up, you didn't have to do all that. She laughed, but it was real. That 40-point performance stuck. Yet instead of bitterness, it turned into respect. Boston explained that once they were on the same team, it instantly flipped from rivals to partners.
Did the thing, made the joke, moved on. That's really what it is.
And then you kind of just move on. You're like, listen, we're on the same team now, so let's whoop some butt. Let's 100%. Do it.
She didn't hold a grudge. She embraced the challenge of now being on Clark's side. That respect grew fast. Boston described how their on-court chemistry works. She literally watches Clark's eyes during a pick and roll. No words needed. If Clark looks one way, Boston already knows where to roll, cut, or seal. She called Clark a phenomenal passer with angles and vision that make her job easier.
She sees the floor, I think is great. And then for me, it's always like, I'm always going to get in her pocket because I know that she's looking to pass that ball and she wants to get us in the best position. And so for me, it's like, okay, well, I'm looking at your eyes. So once I see your eyes, I'm there. You don't have to say anything, I'm going.
And I hear you that it takes time, but like, what do you think it is about each of your games that works well? Like, mostly in the pick and roll. We'll talk pick and roll.
I think honestly, one, like Caitlin, the attention she gets, right? Like teams are like up. Like if they're under and dropped, that shot's going up. Because I'm gonna set a good screen, that shot's going up and she's getting it. And then it's like, okay, well, now I'm gonna step up. And she's just a phenomenal passer. Like her angles, like she knows exactly where to get it.
Together, they've become one of the most electric duos in the league. And that's not just hype. That's trust.
"Quote unquote" Caitlin Clark effect is definitely real. I think we all feel it in our unique ways.
100%.
Yeah. How did you experience it? Like, I know early on you talked about logging off social media. Like, what did you just learn in that period of time? And by the way, the social media aspect is not Caitlin's fault.
No.
So it's like, but what did you learn just like in that period of time?
Yeah, I mean, everyone loves Caitlin. They love watching Caitlin.
Yeah.
And so I think that just brings so much eyes. And I think for our league, that's great. Like that is great for us. You have so many people coming in, they're watching. Like I always say, like they might come in for Caitlin and they leave and they're like, dang, this girl's a hooper too.
Yeah.
Oh, I like her. Like
you're seeing it
hear
in
so many
the
people say it. You
viewership.
hear like everyone says it. And I think you just kind of embrace that.
But here's where the tension comes in. While Boston and Clark were quietly building a connection, outsiders painted a different story. The internet ran wild with speculation. Clark's teammates don't like her. Clark doesn't fit in. Look at her body language. Look at the locker room drama. Boston's response? She laughed. Literally.
What kind of things do you feel?
I'm not in the locker room.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay. But
I'm talking about more social media.
Okay.
It's a turn.
Right?
It's a turn, right? It's really a turn of the tides.
Well,
right?
Gil, here's my point. The beginning of the year, right? Everybody saw it.
She revealed that one time she woke up from a nap before a game, checked social media, and saw rumors saying the Fever locker room hated each other. She walked into the actual locker room and said, "Girl, you good?" Her teammates laughed it off. No drama, no hate, just outsiders spinning stories.
That, oh my gosh, there was so much locker room talk, and
everybody I talked to were like, we vibe, we're good.
I was like, what are we talking about? Like, it's so easy for people to just make all these assumptions. So people are like, oh my gosh, her body language, she was not happy. She hates this entire squad. I don't know. Sometimes when you have a bad game personally, that takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't like the team. It's not you, but that takes a toll on you. Every single night we come out, we want to play good. And so like all the time there were locker room talks. I forgot what was the conversation one time. I woke up from my nap, getting ready to go to pregame. People are like, oh, they hate each other. They hate each other. We walked in the locker room. We're like, girl, you good?
Yeah.
I'm like, I just woke up. I couldn't tell you what's happening right now, but all I know is we about to hoop. At 7 p.m., we got a game.
That's where Boston delivered her biggest shot at Cheryl Swoops. Remember, Swoops was one of the loudest voices suggesting Caitlin Clark's presence caused issues. She hinted at tension, body language problems, and divided chemistry. But Boston crushed that narrative. She made it clear the Fever weren't fractured, they were focused. They were professionals who cared about one thing: winning.
When people get into this whole talking about what they think our locker room is like and what they think, I'm like, first of all, you're not in here.
No.
So you have no idea.
No idea.
And also, we're professionals. So if we want you to see something, you'll happily see it. If we don't, I guarantee you, you would never know there's a single problem. Why? Because that's none of your business, and we have more priorities, and that's winning.
And then came Caitlin's injury. Losing Clark could have broken this team. She was the centerpiece of the offense, the attention magnet, the player who elevated the spotlight. But instead of collapsing, Boston revealed how the Fever locked into a next woman up mentality.
It's definitely been a struggle, but I think just at the start of the season too, like, you know, you have your start of the season meetings and you're talking, and for us it was about, listen, like no matter what happens in the season, it's next woman up. and you have to be ready. And I feel like obviously struggling with injuries, and then, you know, you sign people and then they leave, and it's like, listen, like whoever is next, be ready to play, because it doesn't matter. Like the games still keep coming. Like you still have to be ready to compete.
She explained how different the game feels with Clark on and off the floor. With Clark, the pace is lightning fast. The ball whips around, defenses are stretched. Without her, the game slows down, shifting to half-court execution. But rather than framing it as a setback, Boston spun it as versatility.
Like when C is on the floor, I'm like, listen, be ready to run. Be ready to get out. Be ready because she's looking. She's looking. Going. She wants to play fast. Super early in the offense, and like we do that too as well here. But I think sometimes too now without her, like we can get into like a little more half-court execution, make the defenses work a little bit harder, first side, second side, third side, and then I think when you have like Kelsey, when Kelsey's playing in transition, get that ball up to her
bouncy.
And make her
I've never seen anybody so bouncy.
Like she is unbelievable.
I'm
and
like,
then when you put her
shoes?
in screens, it's like, what do you do?
Bouncing all over.
She is moving. She's making the right read. And it's like, listen, and she's scoring the ball at a very high level.
The Fever were learning how to adapt, and in her words, that made them scarier in the long run.
Caitlin, right? And everybody's like, oh, like they're gonna be this, and this, and now everybody's like, oh, you know what? We're gonna prove you wrong. Like, hell no, like that's how it is. And then this year too, obviously we go in the free agency, and everybody's like, yeah, like they got. For us, we always think like you have to approach every season with like we're winning this whole season. So that was our mindset. And I think when you look at expectations, once again, expectations come from everyone outside, because like in our circle, we know exactly what we want to do. We also understand that it's a process. We understand that new faces, new coaches, like different style of play for people joining us. It's like people need time to figure it out once again. But when you do figure it out, it's going to be scary.
Still, Boston admitted the emotional toll was real. Seeing Clark go down hurt, not just because of what Clark brings to the floor, but because of who she is. A fighter, a competitor, someone who gives everything. That injury tested them, but it also fueled them. And here's where Boston's leadership shined. She pointed to the veterans, Natasha Howard, Kelsey Mitchell, Sophie Cunningham, and Sydney Colson. As the glue that held the locker room together, Boston shared how Colson, often known for her comedy, became the quiet leader who knew exactly when to speak, what to say, and how to keep everyone steady.
Has having more vets on the team, because that's a little different from your first 2 years.
Yeah, no, seriously, I think it's been great. Seriously, it's been a blessing for me. It's crazy. We were just talking to Sid about this on the plane ride over here, and I was like, listen, like it's great to have you guys, because like we're young players, and like sometimes we still have that mindset of like, oh my gosh, I need to be perfect, like I need to. And having vets like Tosh and Sid, like honestly, like I know everyone thinks Sid like the comedic person, like so funny, but I think getting to know Sid and who she is, she's like the best person for any locker room and for our locker room.
Through all the chaos, the Fever didn't splinter, they grew stronger. Now let's take this to the peak. Cheryl Swoops once claimed Clark's arrival disrupted the Fever. She hinted that Boston and others weren't happy with her presence. But Aaliyah Boston just destroyed that narrative. Not only did she defend Clark, she flipped the criticism back on its head. Boston called Clark a positive force, someone who brings fans into the arena, someone who makes people say, dang, this girl's a hooper too.
Everyone loves Caitlin. They love watching Caitlin. And so I think that just brings so much eyes. And I think for our league, that's great. Like that is great for us. You have so many people coming in, they're watching. Like I always say, like they might come in for Caitlin and they leave and they're like, dang, this girl's a hooper too.
Yeah.
Oh, I like her. Like
she credited Clark for elevating the league, even if it meant extra pressure. She didn't resent it. She embraced it. And in doing so, she sent the strongest message yet. Cheryl Swoops was wrong. Dead wrong.
I hate when people get into this whole talking about what they think our locker room is like and what they think. I'm like, first of all, you're not in here.
No.
So you have no idea. And also, we're professionals. So if we want you to see something, you'll happily see it. If we don't, I guarantee you, you would never know there's a single problem. Why? Because that's none of your business, and we have more priorities, and that's winning.
100% agree.
Boston's words didn't just defend Clark, they exposed how far off the critics really were. There was no toxic locker room, no resentment, just a young team fighting through adversity, battling injuries, and proving they could thrive under the spotlight. Think about the timing, too. The Fever clawed their way into the playoffs despite setbacks. Every game has been a dogfight, yet Boston has been the anchor. She's balanced leadership, chemistry, and toughness in a way that silences doubters. This is the ultimate irony. While Swoops tried to tear Clark down, Boston turned her defense into fuel for Indiana's rise. And make no mistake, this isn't just about words. Boston's actions back it up on the floor. She's proving, alongside Clark, that the Fever aren't just relevant, they're dangerous. So here's the takeaway. Aaliyah Boston didn't just stand up for Caitlin Clark. She stood up for the Fever, for the truth, and for the future of women's basketball. And in doing so, she delivered the ultimate clapback to Sheryl Swoops. So what do you think? Did Aaliyah Boston just put Sheryl Swoops in her place? If you're still watching, drop bye-bye Swoops in the comments. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next in this epic Fever story.